Well, as mentioned earlier in the newscast, we are now just a little more than 2 days away from the fishing opener. Not even a week ago, there was a lot of concerns with many area lakes still having a good chunk of ice remaining, but with warmer temps and windy conditions last weekend, that helped melt away most ice. Up at Lake of the Woods, they ended the year with 42 inches of ice, and up until 2 weeks ago, anglers were still out ice fishing. As you can see, a lot of ice still on the northern half of the lake, but there is open water in the southern part. Winds are expected to be west to southwest, so that should keep the main ice sheet to the north. Sand flats in 5 to 10 feet of water will be a good area to look for fish. They're going to be trying to find any warm water, and on opening weekend, it's hard to beat a jig and minnow.
I like doing jig and minnows, and what I do is I use like this is a mission tackle strobe jig here. I love gold. Lake of the Woods gold is key. Fireballs from Northland Tackle are really good. And then Rapala makes a VMC. It's called the Moon Eye jig. And these things are really, really sweet jigs. You vertical presentation. You don't pitch them out like you would down on other lakes. You almost ice fish it. So you just go right over the side of the boat. You bounce the bottom a couple times, and then you just hang onto your rod. And all of a sudden the fish just slams it. It's really a cool deal.
Sather mentioned pulling crankbaits is another technique to try out on opening weekend. Also, the water is very high at Lake of the Woods up at Wheeler's Point in Badette. The current is very strong with lots of debris and logs in the water. That could cause a little extra time when launching out on Saturday morning. Well, further south on Leech Lake, the wind and sun from last weekend cleared off all remaining ice by Monday of this week. The lighter, the better for bait to try out. It depends on the wind. A 16 or 8-ounce jig is a safe bet, along with fatheads and gold or silver shiners. Jig and wraps can also be effective on opening weekend. If you're going to try and troll, then you're going to want to cast your bait out as far away from the boat as possible. That's because zebra mussels have made the water very clear on Leech. And just like everywhere else, the fish are going to be in shallow, warmer water.
You don't want to be fishing in deep water. You want to be fishing in areas where the sun is going to warm things up. So that would mean north end of Portage Bay. It could be the north end of Sucker Bay. It could be the north end of Steamboat Bay. Getting up into the areas where there's mud that attracts the sunlight and warms up that area quite a bit. It isn't crazy to even go into 2 feet of water. Don't take your boat in there, but get into along the edges where you can cast up in that 2, 3, 4 feet of water. And a lot of guys are going to be looking into those areas that seem to warm up quicker than the big lake.
Great advice from B. Sather and also Ray Gildow. They both mentioned that water really, really cold. Right. So make sure to have a life jacket. I mean, all it takes is 5 minutes if you fall in the water for hypothermia to set in.
Exactly. You want to wear it right now too, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So stay safe and catch a lot of fish.
Lakeland News is member-supported content. Please consider supporting Lakeland News today.